Hello and welcome to Holla Chat. My name is Bobby.
And I'm Rachel. Welcome to today. I feel like it's harder to introduce it now that we don't have like a topic that we know we're going to talk about.
Today, we're just going to keep complaining about 80s stuff.
Not all complaints. Well, I think let's start with the biggest news and then portion down into the complaints.
Okay, yeah.
So we can like funnel down and get to the hot takes at the end.
My hot take is so mild. My hot take is so very mild. Like I think probably nobody cares about it but me. So.
Well, I mean, I have hot takes about the fans, and as we know, we've been accused of complaining about the fans too much. So that's not going to end today, and that's going to come at the end.
I will not be silenced. I will say what I need to say about Antony's acting crazy. So prepare your hearts, I guess.
The big news is that very surprisingly, we're sitting around.
Should I just start with my apology?
Well, it's related to Bobby's apology. Go ahead. Why don't you get in there?
Hi, this is Bobby. I am once again approaching you with an apology because this is all my fault. And I'm so sorry. First of all, I did predict in the last episode, if you listened to it, I said that we were going to get a tour announcement far sooner than any of us expected. And I also just a few days ago was thinking about how pleased I was and how nice it was that I wasn't going to have to spend money on any like touring or concerts this summer. I could just take a summer off. I didn't have any big plans already. I could just kind of
get some home reno done.
Yeah, get some work done, save up a little money, and then bam, not 2 days later, KQ's like, hey, y'all, guess what? We're coming back.
I, too, have been predicting a tour for the fall. You know that I've been predicting the fall. And I mean, we're kind of close to the fall, but not close enough for my prediction to be accurate. Like, I was thinking, like, October, November. So we're, like, 3 months early here. I've long been predicting a comeback for May. I think this is all the confirmation I needed that prediction was correct. We're for sure getting a comeback before this concert. And the only time really they can do it is at the end of May. So that's happening.
Yeah, maybe beginning of June, but that's really
it's really pushing it
in there.
So, you know, I like those things were expected, but getting the tour announcement when we got it, we didn't even text the announcement in the group chat. I just sent a message that was like, well, that was unexpected.
Here for context, my phone just doesn't work on Wi-Fi. Sometimes it just won't do things on Wi-Fi. It only works when it's on data. So
that's an iPhone thing. Like iPhones just can't do it.
I don't understand. Hey, Tim, can we get this together, please? Stop it with the AI. I just want my phone to work on Wi-Fi like every other device does, but whatever. So my phone was not working on Wi-Fi that day. And so I'm a teacher, so I'm super busy. I don't really have time to check my phone just like during the day when I'm in class because I actually am good at my job, but whatever. So it's not until like right before lunch that I finally get a little break. Do we have a visitor?
We do. Daisy's here to say hi to everyone.
Hi, Daisy.
She just wanted to check and make sure everything was going well. She's left.
She's just managing.
She heard the excitement about the tour and she was like, well, I want to be involved.
Yeah, this is about me. Anyway, so I hadn't had a chance to really check my phone. So when I finally did, I didn't have any of the group chat texts because iPhones also do not love a group chat, especially if...
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Our friend Cassandra, she does not have an iPhone and everyone else has an iPhone and iPhone just hates it.
It hates it. It can't stand it. It also wants to duplicate the chat sometimes. And so sometimes messages are coming in one text and sometimes they're coming in another. And it's absolutely insane. So I get the AEG text first. That's the first one I see. And I immediately go into the group chat like, what is happening? What is going on? And then as soon as I send that text, well, the text wouldn't send on Wi-Fi. So I had to go off Wi-Fi. And then all of a sudden I get flooded with like 50 texts. They've been talking about this for hours. And then here I come in hours later. What's going on, y'all? like Internet Explorer, you know? So they'd already been talking about it. And so I'm like, okay, I see I'm behind. I'm so sorry. And then my school immediately went into like like a weather lockdown because we were having tornadoes. So it was a really turbulent day for me. I was like, okay, tornadoes are happening at one point. So I'm on this hallway and we've got a door that leads directly out into like a courtyard. And it sounds super fancy. It's not super fancy. It's like a really old school. There's a door that leads out into the courtyard. And at one point the door just blows directly open and everyone starts screaming. And it was like, and I'm just sitting there on my phone and I'm more worried about this concert that's been announced than I am about the impending doom blowing into the double doors down the hallway. It was crazy.
In, the big picture thing, it's been about a year, right? Like by the time they start touring, it will be almost a year since they toured in the US. So like it's not as soon as it feels. I think it feels sooner because they took such a long break between the US and the Europe, and then they did the Seoul finale, that it feels like this tour just ended. And it did just end, but that's because
it did literally
they
just
do
end.
Their tours in a crazy way where they take a whole year to do a tour. Most people when they tour, they're going all over the world in like 2 months. Like that's what Taylor Swift does. Like
it's just like bam, 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 get it done, get in, get out. That's not what ATEEZ does.
No.
Which I think it's actually a little bit healthier for them to have a more relaxed tour schedule so that they've got multiple days between concerts where they can like chill out and they've got time to travel without stressing about things.
I've looked at Taylor Swift's schedule and been like, I don't know how that, I don't. Does she have a body double? Like that's crazy. Like, she's doing like 2 shows in a place, a day off, and then 2 shows in another place. Like that's an insane schedule.
Right.
And it doesn't seem healthy. So I'm glad ATEEZ doesn't do that. But because they don't do that, like it does make their tours feel like they're lasting forever. And they're having to do things like having a comeback between legs of the tour. So they've always had
this. Which I really don't like that.
I don't like it either.
I've complained about it before because it does mean that different legs get different set lists.
And so is it really the same tour if you're getting a full-on different set list?
Right. I mean, and they don't like majorly change it. Like the Towards the Light tour that they started with in Seoul is almost identical to the Towards the Light finale.
Listen.
But they do have multiple changes.
If
like,
they had
its
put
core
enough on the Europe tour, I would have been furious.
It would have been like when they put Halazia on the Europe tour. It would have been like that.
Well, they didn't. We were corrected once. We said that they did that, but they didn't do that. They put it on the Latin American tour. So they did put it on a different tour. They did put it on a tour that was not ours.
We were mad about it, okay? It doesn't matter who got it. It wasn't us. So
someone got it. We did not.
Yeah. So that's frustrating. And I know why I understand it. I look at the facts and I understand them with my brain, but my heart just says, I don't like this.
Right.
Because I don't want people to get good things that I can't have. Because I'm a selfish, horrible monster.
Well, I mean, I didn't like it either, but also I didn't, camp in front of the KQ building with my like truck and sign. So like there's a different, like there's layers here. Like, yeah, it sucks, but like also it's not destroying my life. If I'm going to call someone about a problem in my life, it's not going to be about that. About them putting Halazia on. It's going to be like, hey, did you guys hear about those tariffs? So I'm going to be like calling a senator. Like I've got bigger worries than Halazia being on a different set list. So like, there's levels. I'm allowed to be upset and also be like a normal person about it.
Speaking of calling people, I just want to put out just a little thing. There is this app. I think it's called 5 Calls, I think is what it's called. I hate how apps like don't tell you what they're named. But basically it will give you the phone numbers of your representatives so that you this is Politics Corner. Welcome to Politics Corner. So it will give you the names and numbers of your representatives for you to call, and you can like pick your issue. This is the issue that I'm upset about. So like right now, the issues at the top of the list are demand hands off on April 5th, which that's old. So then we have demand Congress stop Trump's tariffs and reclaim trade authority. Congress, what are you doing? And it will like give you their numbers, and it will give you like a script to read. So like if you're like not really sure exactly what the right thing is to say, it'll give you kind of a little script. And this one even talks about penguins in it, which is very exciting. And it has like links to news articles about this stuff. So you can go read more about it. So it's really, I think it's called 5 Calls. It will call for you. It's great.
We're going to stay here in Politics Corner for a little bit because I need to talk to the people about these tariffs.
Yeah.
Because this is an issue that's going to directly affect your enjoyment of K-pop, like in a big, real way. So as a group order manager, I'm importing things from Korea all the time. And it's already like, you know, I've talked to Condor about this. Like, I just don't know that the risk is worth it for me to continue to be a group order manager. So it is unlikely that we will continue into the next comeback. Like, I'm still thinking about it. Maybe we will. And, you know, possibly we can come back in the future. But the thing is, he has placed a 25% tariff on imports from South Korea. He is also, he being Trump, has rid the de minimis, is that what it's called? I always forget. Do
you want me to look it up?
No. There's an exception for imports under $800 that has been...
De minimis exception.
De minimis. So it's been around for a long time, and it applies to customs too. So I've always used this exception for our group orders. I always pack the boxes so that they are valued under $800 so that we do not have customs on them. And that is still in place for South Korea. So like group order managers can still function and have that. But he got rid of that exception for China. And there's no guarantee that he won't get rid of that exception for other countries in the future because it's just an exception. You know, he can get rid of it. So he's gotten rid of it for China. And that means...
Given that South Korea and China and Japan have recently come together.
Yeah. In their
crazy
dislike of America.
Yeah.
So, you know, just keep that in mind. So that's going to affect group order managers, but more specifically, it will affect anyone who buys K-pop albums because those have never qualified for the de minimis exception. If a K-pop store is getting K-pop albums from Korea, which they are, that's where they get them from. They order them from the same places I do. Soundwave, Apple, like we're all using the same stores. That's why they sometimes have pre-order benefits. And if you look at your album, it will say made in Korea. So they are getting all of these albums from Korea. They have never qualified for a de minimis exception. So that's why those are so expensive, by the way. Like you're paying customs on them. You're also paying the shipping on them. That's why the album that costs $15 in Korea costs $30 here because the store has to order them. They have to pay customs and then they have to make a profit on them because stores have to pay for their rent and etc. Their electricity bills, their internet bills. Like stores have a lot of costs, operating costs. So that's why the albums are always $30 here in the US. Now you have to add an extra 25% tax onto those albums. So that album that you were already complaining about $30 for, it's now going to cost you almost $40. Think about the albums from Barnes & Noble that were already pushing $40. Those are going to be closing up to $50. Do you want to spend $50 for a disc album? Like this is crazy.
Like it makes me very concerned. Like I'm concerned about things like superficially about like Billboard. I don't know if we're going to be able to pull Billboard anymore.
I don't know.
Because I don't think, and especially since the country's flat out going into a recession.
Yeah.
K-pop albums aren't going to be the priority anymore. So I really do feel like, okay, we can say goodbye to Billboard for a while until our leadership gets their shit together.
And like obviously we're talking about this in a K-pop context because this is an ATEEZ podcast, but like your grocery prices, everything's going to go up. Anything you buy at Target. And even when you like all of these prices are going to go up. Also, don't be shopping at Target right now. Sorry. All of these prices are going to go up. And even if the tariffs go away, the prices will not come back down. This will be the new price. It's never going to go back to what it was. So everyone should be concerned about them from like a spending philosophy. And yes, I have read like the arguments and I understand that this is supposed to incentivize manufacturing in the US.
I don't know how that's supposed to happen if nobody can afford to build any of the buildings and get all of the equipment. And I was listening to a small business owner. She's the one that makes the shoes that transition from heels to flats. Too. And she's talking about how her shoes require these very specialized parts, and literally the only company that can make them, manufacture them to her specifications in bulk for for a specific price is in China because they have the infrastructure to be able to do it. They have the contracts with their suppliers to be able to do it. And you don't just set that stuff up overnight. This stuff takes forever to set in place.
That's the problem.
So like if you're wanting to bring more industrialization to America, you want to get more industry, you have to build up that infrastructure first. You can't take away everybody's money and punish us because you moved all the manufacturing offshore. Like what?
I mean, that's the thing. Like, it is a plan that could have worked. Like, I'm not going to be a person that was like, no, this plan, like, tariffs are always bad. But it was not put in the right way. So, like, if you have a year, and then after that, we're going to raise the tariffs to 10%. And then after that, we're going to raise them another 10. So then it's at 20%. And in the next 3 years, if you don't get your manufacturing back in the U.S., you're going to be paying a tariff that's like up to 45%. If you slowly implemented them so that you allowed the industry to build itself here so that people could move their manufacturing here, then you could do it. But to just overnight be like, no. You've got to use something that doesn't exist. It just doesn't exist here. Like, you know, we're not really like a small business, but like I do have stuff manufactured sometimes, and I do have to get it manufactured in China because if I got it manufactured here, it would not be affordable. And there's a lot of reasons for that are not just like, well,
China's not paying their people a living wage and all of that.
Like, the cost of living in China is cheaper than it is in America. They do have more of the industry, so they can produce it better. Even if you're like, even if they're paying their workers a living wage, it's still cheaper in China, like because they have the industry set up and we do not. If I was to order a paper product here in America, sometimes I've gotten like prints done. And if I was to get those prints done in America, I would have to order 500 to get them to a cost that would be reasonable for a U.S. customer to purchase. It's just the scale that you have to get stuff done in the U.S. is much larger. And
it really favors big businesses over small businesses.
Right. So like I, as a small business person, I can never sell 500 prints. I need 50 prints. Like, if I only want to order 50 prints, the only place I can do it is from like a Chinese manufacturer or somewhere off US soil, because US soil, like US manufacturers just are not set up to do like a smaller scale of business. So anyways, that's be concerned about K-pop, be concerned about small K-pop creators, like people who are making PC holders. Those are not being manufactured in the US for sure. Because we don't have this industry to do it.
Your small K-pop stores too. I foresee a lot of those small K-pop stores going out of business because people can't afford to buy anything from them, and they can't afford to sell things cheaper because, of course, rent is also skyrocketing. So there's a lot tied up in this, and I feel like if people don't see how it is affecting them directly, sometimes it's easy to tune out. But if we can make you understand, hey, your life is kind of about to be fundamentally changed.
One of our friends was messaging me the other day. She orders a lot of stuff from Japan, a lot of merch from Japan, and she was like, they came for all of my friends' rights, and that was pretty upsetting, but now they're also coming for my joy, and like, fuck that. There's all of these things that we've had to watch them do, all of these horrible things to people, and now they're like also coming from like, but that's what they do, right? Like, it's just like Strickland.
I was also thinking about, there was some small K-pop artist who was having visa issues in the U.S. Actually, it might not have been a K-pop artist, but it was some artist from another country who was trying to have a concert here.
Well,
and
Card had visa issues. So it could have been Card. I don't know. But I know they had visa issues and were not able to come. It wasn't them.
It was somebody else. But they were having trouble with they hadn't done their paperwork right or something. And so they were having trouble getting their visa to come in and perform in the U.S. And I'm like, I've been genuinely concerned about ATs coming to the U.S. this summer. Yeah. And I
have to assume that AEG is helping them a lot.
I would have to assume that, yes.
And AEG probably has a lot of pull in the United States because they have a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I think,
and that's what you need. You need just somebody with a lot of money backing you so you can do literally anything in this godforsaken country.
Has anyone else seen and been upset by the Trump gold card yet? Because I spent like all day texting my friends like, it's not real, right? It's not real. It's not real. It doesn't really have his face on it, right? And they were like, Rachel, it's real.
Hearing about it is one thing, and seeing its dumb, stupid face on that card is a whole other issue.
Anyways, where were we?
I don't know. But anyway, so that's Politics Corner. If that even all stays in, who knows?
Some of it will. I think I got lost in the weeds about manufacturing, but that's fine.
Well, we got to speak our truth somewhere, and why not be on a K-pop podcast? So anyway, speaking of the tour.
I do have one more thing to add about touring. We're both readers, and we have seen Allie Hazelwood. Did you see this news about Allie Hazelwood?
I did.
So she's I don't know if she's a citizen. She's Italian. I don't know if she's like an Italian American. Like, I don't know if she was born in Italy and she moved here with her husband. And I don't know if she has citizenship or if she's.
I don't think so. Otherwise, I don't know that she would be concerned. But well, I say that with the entire salt shaker. But
right, she had a tour in the UK and like a book tour, and she has canceled it because she is scared of traveling outside of the US and then trying to get back in. She just doesn't think that it can happen, that it is feasible, that, it's like a huge risk. And it's like, yeah, I super agree. If you're not a U.S. citizen trying to get out of the U.S. right now, even for U.S. citizens trying to get in and out of the country right now is not something that we're like, I don't know that they'll let me back in.
Right. I mean, if you even want to get back in.
Right. But, and like, we have all of the privilege in the world. So like, if you do not, or if you are not a U.S. citizen, like it's too dangerous to be.
Yeah. I recently got my passport.
Very nice.
The government still has my birth certificate. So I'm concerned because
they'll be keeping that forever.
Yeah, I didn't realize that you sent in the actual document, and so when I went to the post office, which is where I got my all of that paperwork stuff processed, and the lady stapled my literal birth certificate into the stack of paperwork. I was like, wait, the actual document goes? She's like, yeah, they'll send it back to you separately, and I'm like, okay. And she's like, it is going to come after your passport, so just watch for it. So my passport came a couple weeks ago. No word on the birth certificate. So I'm like, well,
that's the government's now.
I guess it's fine. But I don't have any gang tattoos, so maybe that makes it okay. I don't know.
There's just a lot of stuff to be concerned about with traveling, even for, I was talking to one of my K-pop friends on Instagram, and she was like really going after Trump and saying stuff that I was like, girl, you're gonna get me flagged by the FBI. I need you to rein it in a little bit. I agree, but I need you to not get me flagged. Anyways, back to 80s.
Back to K-pop. Back to 80s.
Where are we?
So anyway, they did announce the tour, and that was my fault, and I'm really sorry about that. Especially for those of you who hadn't really had time to prepare like the rest of us. But I do have a little beef with KQ, and I would like to. This is just a little side note. But hey, KQ, okay. I understand that one of the reasons that they announced this tour so quickly may be because they are trying to get in and out of the U.S. for scheduling reasons. They're trying to get somewhere. They're trying to be here for a certain thing this summer. People have speculated they might be going back to Coachella next year. I have nothing to say about that. I have nothing on that. Headliners, it would be interesting if they're just going again. That's not.
I had to use an American manufacturer for some of my Coachella merch, which means that I have about 1,000 Coachella prints. So if they went back to Coachella, it would be very good for me.
You'd be like, great, I'm ready.
Fantastic. I've got the prints already. Anyways, go ahead.
And people have speculated that they're here because they're going to be filming some content that people have asked for. They might be doing more actual U.S. promotions and not just fan signs.
Remember
so
when
a lot of
did that thing with J Balvin and it we just still don't have that.
Where is it? There is this big secret. People have said that that's supposed to be that on that Apple TV show that hasn't come out yet.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. So just kind of, I don't have Apple TV because I just don't need another subscription service. Y'all, I'm tired. I'm tired of them. So
me too.
I'm just going to wait until that we get more news on that. But
okay, the kids are here and they're pretty loud. So just a heads up to the podcast. We had a surprise child visit.
A surprise child.
So if you hear screaming in the background, they're just playing and having a nice time.
Okay, that's great.
That's good.
We support children on this podcast, sort of. So I get that. I get that they're probably working around things. I think it's so great that they've added some new locations. Yeah. We're going to some new cities, Nashville, Orlando. That's very exciting, especially for the Atlanta people, because I think those people typically do come to the Atlanta show.
Yeah.
So hopefully the Atlanta show will be not super tricky for ticketing purposes. I don't know. We'll find out.
In the past, they've always added a second Atlanta show. I feel like they're not going to this time because of the addition of Nashville and Orlando. I think that will soak up the need for a second show in Atlanta.
Right. The vibe that I've been getting from this tour is that they really are trying to get in and get out. They're on a really tight schedule. I think they've had a specific reason for coming now when they did. And we'll talk about the backlash in just a second. Because of course we have to discuss. But I so badly wish that I could get literally anyone at KQ or AEG a week ahead is not enough time. It is not enough time.
Pay period ahead.
It's not even a pay period ahead. So like if you had a big purchase that you had to do on like April 1st,
good luck.
You're screwed. You know? It's so crazy. I don't understand why they seem to think that Americans just have like an infinite amount of money that we can just keep dropping on all of the bullshit that they keep throwing at us. Like, KQ, please. And the fact that they did an anities drop, which hasn't I didn't miss the window on that because I keep like routinely checking in.
It's not even open for online purchase until April 21st. So I just like haven't even bothered with it.
Okay. I didn't check a single date. I just thought maybe I would just be anxious instead of looking up any facts. So I've just been sort of checking in occasionally to see, is it available? Did I miss it? What's going on? So anyway,
wild that you didn't ask one of your friends named Rachel.
I know.
One of us.
The fact that I have just the most like reliable in on any K-pop merch ever, and I was just like, why don't I just be worried about it instead? Why don't I pick that option? Is pretty crazy, but is also very telling of how my brain works. But anyway, I just don't. And then we know they're going to have a comeback. They just dropped a Baby's comeback, which we're going to talk about in a second because I have something to say about that. I have good things to say about that, but I have one very specific thing that I need to say about that. It's just too much. It's too much going on all the time. And as we've already complained about, things are going to become very expensive. And I know that the tickets are going to be insane for this tour. And it's just, I feel exhausted. And I do not wish to feel exhausted by the thing that brings me joy. But that's just kind of where I am right now, as I'm feeling exhausted by the thing that brings me joy. I have one request for the next. I do think there's going to be one more big tour before enlistment. I think there's going to be one more. It's going to be like a final, not like a farewell, but like a see you later kind of tour before enlistment.
I think so
and
too.
all I ask, if they can even come to the U.S., if we haven't gone full Hitler by then, all I ask is that you give us like a month. I could work with a month. 2 months would be better. But like I am seeing these other K-pop groups are announcing tours like super early and the tickets haven't even gone on sale. Like I'm getting Live Nation emails because I bought Dreamcatcher tickets and they're telling me like, oh, Extraordinary Heroes is coming and oh, this group is coming and this group is coming. And they've been telling me this for a long time and the tickets haven't even gone on sale yet for these other groups. And I'm like, KQ.
What's happening?
Like, I know you've got like plans and stuff. I mean, are you concerned that things are going to fall through and then you're going to have to like backtrack and say, oh, sorry? Like maybe I would hope that having AEG, just like fully backing them would make this better.
Yes.
But we can't keep doing this. I'm going to need you to give me just a little bit of more heads up next time so I can start, get in on my prayer circle, burning the candles. cleansing with sage and whatnot, getting rid of the evil demons.
A book spell. That's a spell book with flowers. So they use flowers for spells. Right. So if we'd had enough time, we could have cast some dark ritualistic magic.
They didn't give us any time, so we couldn't do any kind of bullshit. So it's very frustrating. That's the thing that's frustrating for me. Not that they're coming back so soon, but that we got no warning.
The thing that's frustrating to me, and I said this before, is that they're cannibalizing their own audience. I just bought Psychers tickets, and those were, like, I love Psychers, and I really want to see them. My tickets were too expensive for the group that they are. Like, I can recognize that objectively. Like, I should not have had to pay $220 to see that group because they're still a baby new group. This is only their second tour. That's not a VIP seat. That was like a lower bowl sitting situation. It was $220 and it wasn't platinum price. That was just the price.
Yeah.
So, like, you're cannibalizing your Psychers audience. You're cannibalizing your AT's audience. You're having me purchase too many things, and I need you to, like, spread them out a little bit. If the Psychers tour had been cheaper, I might have even considered going to the Atlanta stop, right? Like, if it had been cheaper, but it wasn't. So it was like, okay, well, I can only go to one. And now it's like, okay, well, now I've got to cut an AT show that I could have gone to because I already bought these Psychers tickets and those were so expensive. Like, I could have gone to another AT show. So, you're still getting the money from me in the same way, but I don't know, like, you're not helping yourself. And I would have paid more for an AT's ticket, right? You've had me cut an AT show from, like, my schedule that I'm going to go to, but I would have paid more for ATs. So you actually would have made more money.
Right. Well, and I do want to make it clear that it's not just KQ, because I've looked into other groups that I've been interested in. Like, I looked at I told y'all I looked at the Extraordinary Heroes, and their tickets are absurd.
I heard the same thing.
Hundreds and hundreds of dollars for, like, an upper balcony seat in the back. And obviously, Extraordinary Heroes is a great show, and I do feel like they're in a very small venue for who they are. I don't understand why they aren't. I mean, I get that they're like a rock band, and that makes more sense for them to be in sort of like a
rock.
You know, like, if you know anything about the Coca-Cola Roxy in Atlanta, it's a good show. It's a good spot for, like, rock bands because it's like a good vibe. That's where Dreamcatcher has done their past couple of shows here. But it's the tickets. The venue isn't worth that much. The venue is it's very uncomfortable. They have, like, this folding chair situation because they don't have, like, real seats, and so it's very uncomfortable to be in. The sight lines are really bad. I've sat in the back and you can't see anything because everybody's got their phones just up in there all the time, but there's no, like, slope whatsoever. It's just a flat floor because it's really more of like a dance hall kind of thing. It's just crazy, but I know that it's so expensive to come here too.
That's I wanted to talk about that article that I sent you that you probably didn't read because it was about OnlyFans. Did you read it?
I didn't read it. I looked at the I told you I didn't read it. I said I read the...
That was a different article.
Oh, you want me to read it?
I sent you several articles. Sometimes I'll just sit in bed and I'll just send articles to people and I won't add any context.
No follow-up, just
Facebook
here.
Aunt.
Oh, that was the other one that you sent me, the good idea one versus the bad idea one.
Yeah.
Let me just scroll back 100 swipes.
I sent you an article about music artists using OnlyFans. And they were talking about some of the same things we were just talking about with our manufacturing, that, like, everything about a tour in the US is so expensive. And even this artist who was selling out shows, like, after they paid for all of the things, like, they weren't making money. And so, like, imagine that from, like, a US artist, but now you're bringing over a whole bunch of people from Korea to put on this show, plus all of your bits and bobs and pieces for the stage. It was basically about the cost of touring and, like, how much artists are making and why it's so expensive to go on a tour in the US and how this is like a real problem in the industry. So I am just throwing this article out there as a thing to talk about how we already know the ticket prices for AT's concerts are going to be super expensive. People are expecting $1,200 for the top VIP. And if it's seated, okay. You know? if it's seated. But you will not catch me in a fantasy situation. That is what Sector is called, this tour. Fantasy.
It should have been, well, it felt like Sector last time. We've already discussed ad nauseum our feelings about Sector VIP and how it is not VIP like at all. But that could have been venue specific, but
I don't mind paying for a VIP experience if it feels like a VIP experience. But if you devalue a VIP experience, then I don't want to pay for that. I will just have a normal experience and have a nice fun time. Don't tell me I'm getting a VIP experience and then have it not be VIP. That's annoying.
Right. See, the thing is that the experience is really based on the venue.
Yeah.
Right? Because our problem at Duluth was that the staff there were not providing the VIP experience. They were just whatevering their way around and doing whatever they wanted.
Well, that was certainly one of the problems, but there were others.
There were many others.
Because they definitely oversold VIP. Like the value of the ticket was not there. There were too many people for it to be a VIP experience. And I actually, a lot of people are really excited about the extended stage that we're seeing at the stadiums. So the extended stage, based on the seat maps that we have, keep in mind that this is pre-ticketing. So like we're both talking about this on the Sunday before ticketing.
Yeah, of course they've given us like zero information about anything and everybody's just kind of guessing and nobody knows what's going on. And nobody's like hacked into Ticketmaster like they did last time to get prices and, seat maps and all of that.
Yeah,
we're all
where
just
are my
guessing.
hackers at?
Somebody said that they had like run the code, and I don't know what that means because I'm stupid when it comes to computers, but they said they had run the code, but it hadn't been posted yet. And I'm like, okay, I bet they're holding it back on purpose to keep the backlash to a minimum, I guess, between the time we get the information and the time we can actually get in and start getting tickets. And it's like, listen, this whole thing is a mess anyway, and it's always people are always going to complain and they're always going to talk about the greedy companies and blah, 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 blah. But it would be so great if you could give me information, since I'm going to be spending, again, thousands of dollars on this whole tour experience. I just want a heads up. I just want a heads up. That's all I want. I feel like I've still been recovering from the last tour this whole time. And I feel like we need to kind of segue into some happy territory, because I feel like I'm just complaining about a thing which is a privilege and is a thing that's very exciting. And it's very callous of me to complain about it, given some other things that we're going to talk about later. But no, we don't have to segue yet. We are allowed to speak our truth. So you may continue to speak your truth.
Okay. So the extended stage for the stadiums appears to be like it comes out and then it kind of T-shapes, which, kind of makes like an H shape for the stage. So that's kind of what it looks like we're going to have at places like Globe Life, Citi Field, and BMO. My thing about that is all of those front row tickets that are along that are probably going to be ultimate VIP, like the highest VIP. All of those people are going to be in send-off. So you're almost devaluing the ultimate VIP experience now too, because you're going to have a ton of people in these VIP experiences. And when there is a ton of people, it doesn't feel VIP. That is the whole thing about VIP. VIP is a privilege, right? Like that is the top tier experience. And it's unreasonable to think that that's not going to cost more money than like a normal experience. But it does devalue the VIP experience if there are too many people in it. So I am concerned about those shows, but not in like a huge way, because I don't plan on getting VIP for them. So it's not...
Also, we don't know that send-off is even a thing because we haven't received the information that tells us what all is involved in the VIP tiers. So that's just us guessing based on our last tour experience.
Yes. And I honestly, if they don't have send-off, that's fine with me too. I mean, you're going to have to give something else to justify the price of that ticket, but...
I have beef with security, Dad, that needs to be settled.
I'm sorry. I take that back. I do want one send-off experience because Mingy has to sign my hat.
Right. We've got lingering issues that need to be resolved that I would like one send off. I just need one. It can be my final one. I don't have to do it ever again, but I need one single send off so that me and Security Dad can come back together and see eye to eye once again. and he can be aware that I'm not actually an insane, crazy person, because I do feel like he does believe that I'm an actual insane, crazy person. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you need to go back to season 1 and listen to our tour, whatever we called it, the second
Postmortem.
episode, the tour postmortem. It's the second episode. We get into send off, and
it's probably some of our best work.
It's a fun time, yeah. So I recommend it. I feel like if you are going to recommend our podcast to somebody, you should start with that episode. Be like,
you should start with part 2 of our tour episode. Yeah. Skip part 1 entirely.
Doesn't matter. Part 1 is not even important. I don't even remember what we talked about. I just remember talking about send off, where I can explain my beef with security dad, because security dad is very precious to my heart, and he's a very important person, which is why the beef is very painful for me to have to carry. So we need to settle it so that I can move forward with my life.
I just need Mingy to sign my hat. I won't even bring an in your fantasy thing for people to sign. I will just bring my hat from towards the light, and I will say, Mingy, please sign. I don't even need to talk to anyone else. I mean, I might like wave, and I don't need signatures from anyone else. I would like, I have been contemplating this. So you know how Cassandra's Byungming is signed by Mingy on his little forehead?
Yes.
I think it would be very funny if I got Jungbear signed by Jungho on his tummy. And then we could carry around our little tattooed children.
That would be very funny.
So, you know, we're rolling that over in the old dome. You know,
contemplating. Yeah.
But other than that, and Mingy signing my hat, that's all I need.
Are we done complaining about the tour?
Well, let me say also that I am very excited about the tour. Like, I understand that I've just complained for like 45 minutes. I'm really excited. I am going to buy tickets. I am going to buy tickets to a couple of shows if I can get them. Like, and I think it's going to be really fun to meet up with friends, to see ATini. I'm excited to hear AT's music. So, like, it's all good. Just keep that in mind.
If you, like, okay, let's say your top 3 songs that you want them to bring back and put on the set list. What are they? What are your fantasy songs that you want back?
Okay.
Or that you want them to do again?
What if I want for first time?
Sure, anything that you would love to see. Your top 3 fantasy songs for the tour.
If they don't put enough on that set list, I'll be that meme where the person just stays at the venue. Like, I'm not gonna leave until I hear enough. It's crazy. I would like to talk to you about my ATini membership.
Okay.
I understand that we were talking about songs, but I need us to come back to that. So just like a pause. Okay. So I'm like the type of person who gets stressed out very easily. That should be pretty obvious to anyone who's ever listened to me talk. So I have checked that I have Talk membership in AT's ATini membership probably 1,500 times since the announcement of these concerts. And if you go to my account, I clearly do have it. It says membership. You see, I'm showing Bobby for the people at home. And if you go into it and you click on my membership, it says ATini membership recurring payment.
Yeah.
And it says that I've been here since May. Okay, May 2023. So if I'm home on this home page,
it says that for me too.
But then if I click on it, it lets me do it again.
Yeah, it does. Because
I can hit join.
Yeah, that's the one that doesn't because I accidentally had at the same time the one that the reoccurring payment one and the one that doesn't automatically renew. Okay. So I was a member twice for a little while, but I got that fixed. Okay. So you are okay because it also says that to me.
Thank God.
And it's just you're good. You're good.
Okay, back to the songs I want to hear.
Yes.
Now that we've all got to experience what it feels like to have a meltdown.
A little momentary panic. It happens to all of us. So to all the listeners out there, if you've got the ATini membership and you are also freaking out because yours says join membership, don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine.
I mean, they won't be freaking out because the concert thing will have already happened, and at that point, it doesn't matter. It will have already,
but you know what? For future reference, it's okay.
Okay, so I want enough on the concert set list.
Okay.
It's hard because every song is a banger. There's no bad songs. Say My Name has to be on it.
I don't think it has to be on it.
I think you're wrong.
I know that I'm wrong about a lot of things, but I love Say My Name. I will go to war for Say My Name. And when I do go to war, I will be playing Say My Name in my earbuds. But I am fine with Say My Name being cut.
I'm not. KQ, Maddox, Eden. I'm not fine.
Everyone in charge.
You know, for a while, our most popular city there, again, was Korea. And they've stopped listening again. It's just really sad. So we lost Maddox again. Okay, Say My Name. I'd love to hear Answer again.
Nice, good. I agree.
What are yours? I assumed you asked because you had some, but your face says that you don't.
I just figured it'd be a cheerful thing to talk about. There are so many. I feel like they are going to cut Silverlight, which hurts my heart because I do feel like Silverlight is very tied. Because Silverlight is sort of the grand finale of the storyline in the Towards the Light tour. So I do feel like they are going to cut that. There are some that I mean, there's not a single song that I'd be mad that they put on the set list.
Right.
So
I would, if they would put the full version of This World instead of the 30-second teaser that they gave me, that would be really choice, but I don't think they will.
Outlaw. I think is my number one choice. I do want Outlaw. I know you've got choreo for that, KQ.
We saw it.
You got it. I want Be With You.
Oh, Be With You would be great.
I want an orchestra version of Be With You.
I'd love
they get
to
like
see
a little string quartet out there with them to do Be With You.
The In Your Fantasy theme, that's the word, I think, concept. Lots of fun things can be done with that. You remember Circus Inception with the masks? That's very In Your Fantasy. I would really enjoy that. So let's bring Inception from, oh God, what was that tour even called? Fellowship?
Beginning of the End. That was beginning of the end.
Let's bring that back.
I just don't know. I would like to hear We Know. I think We Know could be really fun.
Oh, We Know would be really good.
Selfish Waltz.
Selfishly, I'd like Celebrate.
I don't know that they'll revive her, but I'm not a Celebrate auntie. She's not my favorite, and Rachel knows this. She wasn't written for me. She was written for Rachel, and that's okay.
Yeah, yeah. She was written for
me. Rachel doesn't feel about Take Me Home the way that I feel about Take Me Home, because I do feel like Take Me Home is probably for me.
A lot of people would probably be happy to see Take Me Home back.
I don't think that they will. I would enjoy seeing Rocky again. I was listening to Rocky the other day and just remembering, wow, this is such a good song. It's so great. It would have gone great with like Django. That would have been a fun little grouping of songs.
Let's talk about Twilight. The song that no one ever remembers.
I actually do remember Twilight. I have a little bit of, wow, it's getting dark outside. I have a, speaking of Twilight, I have a rocky relationship with Twilight because it's not my favorite. It was when I first started listening to ATs, it was one of the songs that I would skip.
Hater.
Actually, that was before I really started standing them. When I started like standing ATs, then I was like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing here. It's kind of fun. It's kind of groovy. I like it.
The best version of Twilight is the classical version, though. So let's bring out classical Twilight, and we can get the orchestra Be With You, and we can put them together, and I think we can really have a moment. And then, I think we can take that into Ice on My Teeth because we got all the strings.
Right? I know that ATEEZ really does go for the hype in the concerts.
Yes.
And I think that's great. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that makes sense for them. But if we had like a nice little chill moment somewhere in the middle where they're like, okay, everybody, let's just sit down. Let's just take a moment and let's just really like, let's relax and let's listen to Be With You. And let's, maybe Jongho comes out and does everything again because that goes with all of that. Let's get in our feels. Let's do Empty Box. Let's do
Empty Box would be good.
All About You. Let's do All About You. Let's just have a vibey moment somewhere in the middle.
Let's bring Maddox back.
Maddox has never been to the States.
Never.
And I would love for Maddox to come to the States.
That would be great.
And I would love it if Maddox would sing a new song. I want him to sing a new song. because I know he's got them. I want him to come sing a new song so that people in the States can learn to appreciate Maddox the way that he deserves to be appreciated.
Yeah, Maddox, we're fans. You should come back and start listening to us again.
What if they brought Wooyoung? That would be so great. Let's get her out here.
She opened.
That would be nice. I mean, I feel like that might be a little bit beneath her because she is so accomplished. But it would make me happy. US. Maybe not in the U.S. Get her out here in the U.S. Let's do a KQ family tour.
They're not doing that. They're doing In Your Fantasy.
I know. The KQ family Christmas concert is, it's still
heavy on your heart. I think In Your Fantasy is a fun theme. So I'm excited to see what they do with it. I think In Your Fantasy sounds less hype. Like,
it sounds like it could go anywhere. It's not related to any one specific like album or idea that we're used to with ATEEZ.
The coloring is very Chicago coded,
right? But also with like the silhouette,
that's what I
that feels very fun. But you know how I said before Golden Hour Part 2 that I would like to see a fantasy concept in the comeback. What if? What if, because we know Wooyoung's got this magical stone that we didn't know anything about, but suddenly we got this magical stone. What if this takes us into like a fantasy direction? And Golden Hour Part 3 is where things just get real crazy.
Some dragons.
We get dragons.
What if there's a dragon at the concert?
There could be a dragon. We've had a kraken. Why not a dragon?
I think a dragon would be so cool.
Sangha could slay it, or maybe he doesn't slay it. Maybe he befriends it. Maybe that's the direction that we go.
Maybe they become dragon riders.
Listen, there's so many exciting things that they could do if, we could get some glitter on some faces.
From their discography, In Your Fantasy reminds me of Inception. When I think In Your Fantasy, Inception is the song that I think of.
I absolutely don't think of Inception. I think Inception is so closely tied to like Strickland for me because I know that that's where we're headed when we hear that song. I think more of like the world B-sides. Like I think about New World. Like New World could fit totally into a fantasy theme.
See, I don't think New World at all.
We're just not on the same page today.
We aren't. I've got Inception and I've got Ice on My Teeth. Those are my
See, Ice on My Teeth is not fantasy at all for me. Like I just don't get that.
I think we're in different fantasy genres. Because I'm like in this kind of mysterious gothic manner. And I think you're in a different fantasy.
I'm in a fae realm right now.
So we're really working on a different thing. And that's the nice thing about fantasy. So
I know it could go anywhere.
Really
there are all sorts of things that they could do. So that's very exciting.
I'm very into gothic, which I think anyone who knows me knows. So I don't really need to explain that. But like I've very much been in my like last night I got on Reddit and I subscribed to like 15 different gothic subreddits. So I'm just like really feeling like like I'm in my gothic era, and so is ATEEZ. So that's great for me.
Nice. Yeah, I don't think they will ever give me the actual like true fantasy of my dream. I don't think Yeosang's ever gonna be a mermaid, and I really do want him to be a mermaid, but I don't think
we're
make him
closer to my gothic fantasy.
We are, yeah.
So and Ice on My Teeth was so close to
Ice
my gothic
on My
fantasy.
Really like leaned into that aesthetic.
I'm so close. We just need like one more and I'll be there.
Yeah, just step over it, nudged right over that line. I don't know. I know that we have a comeback coming. Yes. I know we have a comeback coming
in May,
and I know that we also need to talk about maybe we should circle back to tour and get over the
bad tour part.
Yeah,
to get that and then talk about that's other people complaining,
right? so I feel like we should discuss
it's a transition. Yeah, there was a total crash out about the tour announcement. It was clear, and we talked about this in the last podcast, it was clear from the finale that was a finale. They would not be extending that tour to Asia, Latin America. Both of us predicted that, and that did turn out to be accurate.
I mean, easy to predict when the tour was when it was a finale. It was just it was a finale. It wasn't an encore. It was a finale. It was over. It's over. It's done. For anybody who's been on A2E Twitter, you know what the fallout was like. All of the Latin American Atenese got super upset. But especially a lot of people got upset, but some fan bases handled it in vastly different ways than others.
And I want to start with, I get being upset. Like that does suck. Like that there is no, it sucks that they didn't do.
It does.
In the end of sentence, like that sucks.
And like I am fully aware that I am coming at this from a place of a lot of privilege.
Absolutely.
Because they do come not only to my country, but they come to my city, which I'm so lucky that they do.
And for like, it's with a pretty good predictability. like they are going to come to the U.S. and they are going to come somewhere near Dallas. So. Like for sure. It sucks that they didn't go to Latin America. It sucks that they're not going to Southeast Asia. Like that sucks. And
it does.
I think probably it has to do with the AEG deal that AEG is trying to, and we have some proof of that too, but like AEG and them signed a deal, and now AEG is ready to make some money in the US. Where those big old cash cows are. They're here for milk.
But here's the thing. Let's talk about the thing. I have said that I do believe that they've had trouble dealing with the Southeast Asian countries as far as like getting the
local
venues
promoters.
And all of that. The local promoters. We've said that. And as it turns out, we have
experience with that too. Like we've seen it with our eyes.
I mean, and as it turns out, some things have been leaked, some information's gotten out there that in fact there was apparently a tour planned, but then that tour got scrapped when they signed the deal with AEG. But also it's what I'm seeing, and I'm not, it's hard to say whether this stuff is like 100% accurate or whether, people are interpreting the information differently. But I've seen a lot of people say that, like KQ was requesting certain size venues and that the local promoters were giving them like way smaller venues. Yeah. Like they wanted at least 10,000 seats and local promoters were like, okay, how about 4,000? Which I am sorry. No, that's insanity. And if they had gotten, like if the Southeast Asian Atenese had gotten only a 4,000 seat venue, they would have complained and complained and complained about that. And it's like they can't do the tour in that size venue. They would have to have a completely different set list, a completely different show. Yeah. Plus, it's disrespectful. And I saw one person say that, oh, well, they should expect that they're going to do smaller venues when they're touring in a new city. What are you talking about? Like, you cannot say in the same breath, they get all their support from us. There are so many Atenese in Southeast Asia. But then also say, well, they should also come and do completely small venues. Like, okay. And when you can't get tickets because they're all sold out in 7 seconds, what then? What do we do then?
Well, it's all about money, right? Like, if you can tour the same set list in a 20,000 venue in 10 cities in the U.S., that's going to be much more cost effective for them than it is to go to 6 or 7 4,000 capacity venues. It just like that's math and it sucks and it's whatever. But like it from a business perspective, it is not cost effective for them to take that tour to a 4,000 venue. Like it's just not.
Yeah, they literally cannot take that tour. They have to do a different tour. Yeah. Like there's a reason why the Towards the Light tour is a completely different show than like the Expedition tour. Like you're trying to give us expedition venues on the Towards the Light, and that just doesn't make any sense. It's not feasible. And like I can understand being disappointed, but the way that these Atenese
the
are
crash
just
out.
are just fully,
and it's not all Atenese, right?
It never ever is.
It never is.
All.
In this case, it's very specifically some major Southeast Asian fan base accounts.
Yes.
So like
decided they're going to boycott.
Huge fan base accounts.
Yeah. That basically closing down, boycotting the next comeback. I get mass emailing KQ. Y'all going to fill up the inbox again and nobody's going to be able to say anything. So something
and then
like
how
real
will
happens.
I complain about Yosong's bangs? Bobby.
How will we complain about the bangs if we can't get into the mailbox? We're going to have to send a truck about the bangs. And that's like an expense, So like, I get the frustration, I get the disappointment, but at the same time, and I know that, like, me coming from this place of privilege and saying, well, y'all just need to wait, because I do think they are coming. I think they're coming. Yeah. Maybe not if all of your fan bases have decided to boycott the next comeback, and so the numbers are not going to reflect that you have as many A&Es as you claim that you have.
Right.
Maybe
if a local promoter is saying, oh, we can only fill 4,000 seats, and then y'all don't buy any albums and don't stream any songs, like, they're gonna be like, oh, okay, well, I guess we really could only fill 4,000.
Yeah, I guess we won't go to that city, that country, because they don't want us there, I guess, because that is how they're determining. They're not determining it based on how many people are whining on social media. They're basing it on the numbers, the streaming numbers, the sales numbers. That's how they know where they can take ATs and make money off of the show, because it takes money to put on the show, and they need to make that money back, and they need to make a profit, because everybody involved also has to get paid. So anyway. So I think they're coming. I do think they're planning. I think AEG is going to be able to open doors that they haven't been able to before. I did see an African. I want to say it was in Morocco. I want to say it was some like a touring kind of account that said, "Oh, African ATs, we can expect to hear some good news soon." Winky face. So I'm really hoping they do get to go to Africa. I know that they would love to see all those different places and all those ATs. I know they had a really good time when they were there for Mawazine. Yeah. Mawazine was in Morocco, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. They would love to go back. They would love to be there. I think Latin America is also going to get shows. I'm hoping that they get in more places the way that they've gotten in more cities in the U.S.
Yes.
Because I know people complain about that too, about they never go to enough places and they're never in every single place where they need to be. And it's hard. It's hard to get everywhere.
I am hoping that the new places in the U.S. tour is going to ease the pressure of the U.S. tour ticketing market as well, because we had a lot of different people trying to come to several large cities. And now we have some more cities that I am hoping will soak up some of that. I mean, maybe I'll be proved wrong. And
I mean, I think it's gonna be a bloodbath no matter what, but maybe it'll be slightly less of a bloodbath if we have more. If people aren't getting tickets for Orlando and Atlanta at the same time. I'm pretty excited about the Orlando and the Nashville shows. I'm for sure not going to the Orlando one. I might try to go to Nashville. I don't know. I'm kind of waiting and seeing.
That's how I am with Glendale. Glendale's there for me if I need her, but I don't know yet. I don't know if I'll need her.
Well, I know Nashville for sure wouldn't be like a VIP situation. Yeah. So I'm just gonna see. I'm just gonna see.
Contemplate. Yeah. So I think I am excited about the additional stops in the U.S. And I think if we can see if they were able to get additional stops in the U.S., maybe that bodes well for being able to more easily tour other countries, because they have been doing the same stops in the U.S. for like the last 2 tours.
Yeah.
3 tours maybe. Then basically the exact same thing. Like, I think in some of the cities they went to like a bigger venue, but like otherwise the exact same thing.
It's gonna be whatever happens. It is gonna be a great show, and I know I'll get to see it at least once from somewhere in some seat. And there, like we've said before, there is no bad seat in an AT show. There is no bad seat. There's nowhere you can sit where it's bad.
My favorite take from one of the fan base accounts is that America gets the tour because of our big breasts.
I didn't see that. I did not see that.
Well, I think it's very funny. Just like a total, like they just like lost their minds.
It's hard to know. It's hard to know when you're looking at tweets and takes from A&Es all over who's joking and who's just being a moron. And, it could go either way most of the time.
So that was a really bad. Like, I think people were really upset. They were upset about how the fan base accounts were acting, which reasonable. But since I wasn't on Twitter, I didn't really, I didn't see a lot of it. I was only sent like some tweets, and I like when Cassandra made the joke about us being slutty Americans, and that's why we got the big tour. And I was like, what are you talking about?
I never saw that either. I just saw I mostly saw people complaining about the complainers. About the crashing outers. I saw those, which that tends to be how my timeline goes, is I'll get a little bit of like the initial backlash, and then everything after that will just be
the
people saying all you people are stupid for all of these reasons. So that's how it works. Probably because I go through and I just block. I block people so easily. Somebody on my timeline said that they don't listen to Empty Box, and I blocked them. I did. I was like, I don't need this energy on my timeline. Sorry, you gotta go. So listen, I'm not trying to like keep an open mind when I am on Twitter. My mind is closed, and I have a certain type of person who I do want to hear what they have to say on Twitter, and it is not people who skip Empty Box or everything, or literally if you're on the timeline crowing about the AT songs that you skip or you don't like, I'm sorry, I don't care. I don't need you. I don't need that energy.
It doesn't even matter if I also skip that song.
Well, I don't skip AT songs, and that's the truth. I do mean that. Like, I genuinely, I will put on my KQ Company Stand playlist, which I do have. I have it. I'll put on my KQ Company Stand playlist. I don't skip a single one. Every single one is a banger every single time. Even though my Spotify loves to just play the intros, it'll get on like an intro kick, and it will just play the intros one after another, and it's very upsetting and jarring. But still,
yeah, I don't remember the last time I skipped an AT song, so like I don't think I do either. But I won't say never. I never say never. What if I was like trying to cry and Celebrate came on?
Yeah, it's like sorry, Celebrate. Now is not the time for you.
I need something else.
Sometimes there will be like I will be listening to an AT song and then get an intense craving for a different AT song. Like Ariba will start, but then it's like, no, I gotta hear Silverlight right now, right this second, and so I'll just go on to Silverlight. But it's never like I'm listening to a shuffle and an AT song comes on and I'm like, no, I don't want that. Yeah. That's never the vibe.
Okay, so we've talked about the concert drama, the backlash. Didn't have much to say about it, so I guess we didn't really talk about it that much.
I feel like I've already spoken so much about it that like, what else is there to say? Like, I don't need to educate the listeners on people who are stupid. They know. I don't have a unique and special take on any of this. I'm just like, also, yeah, they're pretty stupid. Like, I get it. I get it. I understand it. But you're acting like a spoiled child is what's happening right now.
I wanted to share that the Duluth show from last year, it's not happening in Duluth. Duluth is no longer Duluth. It is Atlanta.
It's just Atlanta.
So we've moved venue. And I want to share with the listeners that I think it's my fault. And you're welcome. Because
That's not a fault. That's a blessing.
I did email... Can't even remember the name of the arena right now. What is it?
South.
I emailed
South.
Gas South. I emailed KQ, and I emailed AEG about like what a bad time I had there. I think I may have even also included like the mayor of Duluth and the governor. I complained about the standing, and it does appear that we will not be standing this tour. I complained about Duluth specifically.
The only reason, listen, we all know, I know the truth. The only reason we had to go to Duluth was because of Peso Pluma. Because State Farm was not available. Last time it was Peso Pluma and AJR had both of those nights, and Truist Park was busy with the Brave stuff. So they couldn't do either of those. The Mercedes-Benz is also like it's a big football field, and it's not good for concerts anyway. So I'm like that's where like Taylor Swift comes, but it's not a good concert venue from what I've heard from the reviews. So they weren't going to do those. So Duluth was the only option. It was the only place they could go, and they weren't gonna skip Atlanta because it's the only show that they have in the South, or the Southeast. So that was not there. They would have not gone there if it weren't for the existence of Peso Pluma, and that is why I am beefing with him eternally.
Still, we can't deny that I sent KQ an email and things changed.
I also I'm going to say that I feel like maybe they did get rid of. Listen, Daddy Sean was in Duluth because we saw him.
Saw it happen.
He saw the people fainting and the security guards doing absolutely nothing about it. they saw it all go down. So I feel like that's part of it. And for the people that did go down, I thank you for your sacrifice. I'm sorry that you had to be a casualty of this war, but I do feel like that is part of the reason why they are maybe doing seated VIP. It's hard to say because they, again, no information.
It does appear that it
appears to be.
Well, we'll know next time we record, and we can really complain about that if they're not.
Or not complain. Maybe we'll be rejoicing.
Celebrate.
I hope we celebrate.
We can start by playing Celebrate. And then we can get this copyright restricted by KQ.
Nice. Which means KQ will then be aware of the podcast.
Maddox is our is our South Korean listener. I'm sure it's Maddox. I watch Maddox vlogs every Friday because he releases them every Friday, and every Friday I work on GOM stuff. So he is my GOM partner outside of Cassandra. But I was telling Cassandra, sometimes, man, he gets a little sad in those vlogs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Maddox, please. You're making this really hard for me.
We did just get announced that Jongho's going to be featuring on a song.
Oh, yeah.
By someone.
Yeah, we did get that.
Whose name I've forgotten. But that's just exciting because I just want him to be everywhere doing everything. I want him to have just thousands of grandma solo stands.
Yes.
That's what I really, really want for him. But that's coming out like today or tomorrow.
It's not coming out till the 12th, I don't think.
I thought it was coming out on the 7th.
You're right. It's the 7th.
What is today? Today's the 6th. So it is the 7th right now in Korea. So it'll probably be out, tomorrow morning, maybe?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it depends on what time it's coming out in Korea.
I don't know.
Maybe it's already out and we've just missed it.
Well, I would have assumed there would have been a tweet, and I have all my notifications on for all the tweets, and I haven't gotten a notification.
Sometimes KQ isn't timely about other people, like retweeting other people's things.
Well, it is the middle of the night over there, so.
Yeah. I mean, they're pretty good about scheduling their tweets for midnight, but like when a thing gets tweeted, they don't often retweet it until it's like business hours.
Yeah. So I'm not expecting to hear anything until tomorrow morning. I'm hoping it'll be out when I get up tomorrow morning, so that could be a good way to start my Monday, my spring break. I am on spring break, by the way.
I'm very excited about the Jongho song, obviously, for the same reasons. I just hope, all of the other solos, as if I'm a solo. All of the solo stands are always complaining about how their boy doesn't have any solo schedules. They always act like all the other members do, but the only solo schedules that Jongho gets are singing, and like I think that's the solo schedule that he wants, and so it's really exciting when he gets one of those.
And sometimes it's not even like a schedule; it's just he's doing an OST, and so there will be a new OST out there.
Yeah, I mean, technically this isn't a schedule either. Like a song is dropping and he will be on it.
So he's not like going somewhere to. I don't think he's promoting it as far as I know, but who knows? He might.
I mean, it seems like the producer is promoting it with Jongho's image, and then like Jongho's like sharing stuff. I don't think it's going to be like it's not a music show song. We've heard the preview. And like I listened to some of this guy's other songs when I found out it was coming out, and they're all kind of that vibe. It's not a K-pop song.
You know exactly what we're talking about, probably. If you listen to any of Jungho's solo stuff, you know.
And it's going to be beautiful, and it's going to be perfect. And I'm really happy for him when he gets to have his solo thing too, because I think what he wants his solo thing to be is singing. And there's a surprisingly few amount of opportunities for solo schedules for singing. So, weirdly.
And plus, he is supposed to be doing the OST for a drama, but that drama doesn't drop until like May, I think, May or June. So we're still, I don't even know if we have a release date on the drama yet, so we're still waiting on that. It's crazy that we already know that he's doing the OST. Yeah, but I think it's just because the song was in the preview, the trailer.
Yeah, a lot of times we don't get the drama has been out, and we figure out Jungho's going to be in it because there's like a stinger for the next episode at the end, and there is his voice. We don't even get anything, so it is exciting to have him in the preview so early.
And it looks like it's even going to be a good drama. So that's exciting. I've entirely forgotten what the premise is, but I do remember when I read the premise, I was like, oh, that sounds fun. So that's good for me. Oh, I think it's like an old mobster goes back to his hometown or something like that.
That's fun.
It's something to do with the mob, with like organized crime, but he's trying to like clean it up is what I think is happening. So that sounds fun. I'm excited for that.
I very affectionately call any drama where Jung-ho does the OST Jung-ho's drama. So perhaps we can do a watch through of this new Jung-ho's drama when it comes out. That can be our imitation recap next season.
I have pitched the idea to Rachel of doing Boys Over Flowers. It has nothing to do with ATs, but like, what if we make it about ATs? I don't know.
Yeah,
we can try.
I mean, I'm pretty good at making everything about ATs. It's a special skill I have. Should we talk about the babies?
So Friday, the babies dropped a new album. Spur,
very good.
House of Tricky Spur. It's very, very good. Excellent. Possibly one of my favorites from House of Tricky. And love. Both of us are big fans of Highway.
Yes.
I famously got a speeding ticket while listening to Highway, so I'm going to warn y'all, be careful out there.
We were listening to it yesterday in the car, and I was like, I can see how you could really lose yourself in speed to this song.
Driving to work, having a great time, and then here, bam. I was like, And I'm like, I'm not even going to argue. I was so clearly speeding, so clearly being an idiot. I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. I know it was me. This is all on me. But yeah, really, really good. But I got some beef.
Okay.
I went to the pop-up yesterday. So we have a Hello 82 in Atlanta, and I went to the pop-up. We have nice pop-ups at our Hello 82. Typically the babies, their pop-ups aren't like majorly attended. It's not like an event the way that an AT's pop-up is an event. But they did, like, they had, we got stickers. I got Hunter's hand-drawn sticker, so that's really fun. That will go in my junk journal when I finally start doing my junk journal. We got like a little cipher puzzle. So like some nice freebies when you walk in. They did not have as many albums out as they normally do. So I think that they probably just didn't order as many because the babies just aren't as popular, which is very sad, and they should be more popular because they're very, very good.
They are good.
Did you watch the Hello 82 video that I told you was very good?
I've only watched clips of it on Instagram.
But have you seen the Die with a Smile?
Yeah.
They're so good. My Little
all
Vocal
the clips
Babies.
I've seen are very good. I just haven't had time to sit down.
So my biases in Zikers are Jinshik and Hyunwoo. And a little bit of Yechan just because he's my birthday buddy, but also he's precious. So
Hyunwoo is my birthday buddy.
Yes, he is, which is very fun.
Exciting.
But yeah, they did some content for Hello 82, and they just did like it's supposed to be like a karaoke kind of thing, but they had clearly like practiced ahead of time, and I'm okay with that. I say give them a chance to shine. It was very fun. Hyunwoo, Junghoon, and Jinshik sang Die with a Smile, and it was just amazing. It was so good. It was so good. I know that they can sing. I've heard them sing, and I was still surprised, and it was just it was so good. So but anyway, album is great. When I go to the pop-up, I get two sets. I got one for me. I got one for our friend Rachel, who doesn't have pop-ups in her area, so I tend to go to pop-ups for people if they need me to. And I got us a couple sets, and I came home and I was unboxing them, unwrapping them, opening and sorting the PCs just for me and for Rachel. And I'm looking through these PCs, and I'm noticing some things about these PCs. And like half of them, the boys are not even in concept outfits. Like none of them. Like I even was like, I was looking through the photo books. I was like, wait, is this like just one of those things where they just have like a photo shoot in an outfit and it doesn't go anywhere,
Yeah.
They're not in concept. They're just in like sweatshirts and hoodies and like tracksuits and stuff like that. And there's this one Sumin PC.
He looks so good.
He looks fantastic. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh wow, these PCs they look terrible, but it's a phone mirror selfie. Like he's got his phone visible in the shot. He's just wearing like a gray sweatshirt. He's not wearing any particular like stage makeup. He hasn't. It's just your typical. This is something you would post on like their Twitter feed.
It looks like a fan made PC.
Yeah, that's what what it is. And it's a little bit blurry too. So I was complaining about this in the group chat, and I'm like, I don't understand why nobody else is like I'm not like mad because it's a stupid, don't get mad about PCs. Those are stupid things to get mad about.
Also, Suman is one of my biases, and he looks so good.
And you are welcome to trade me for this
PC. He's so cute. Look at him. Like to.
He does look really, really good. I like Suman a lot. I think he's great. I do. Oh, I also have another Sayun for you if you want him.
Oh, that's my other bias.
He's
in Suman.
He's actually in a concept outfit, amazingly.
He's adorable, Jesus.
So here, and then this Hyunwoo, just in a hoodie.
Nice.
My Jinshik, just a black shirt. Not even on the same background as the other boys. Like they look great. Listen, I need you to understand that this is not me complaining that like the PCs are bad. That's not my issue here.
Jinshik looks like, what's the guy with the apple and the glasses and the black turtleneck?
He looks
Jobs.
He's got Steve Jobs, although he's not wearing the glasses, but he's just got the little black mock turtleneck.
Very Steve
against
Jobs
like
of
a
him.
really pretty blue background. So I'm like, this is lovely. And I understand. I am new to the PC game. I've only been collecting for a couple of years now, so I'm a baby. I'm brand new. I get that, but when I collect PCs, I collect them because it is a special like representation of an era, of an album. And what I don't want, because here's the thing, additional information is that our friend Rachel sent me a link to a Hyunwoo PC. It's also a phone mirror selfie, not in a concept outfit.
Does everyone have a
I don't
phone
know
mirror
if
selfie?
everybody has a phone mirror selfie in a not concept outfit, and that's
because
not
that's
my.
Kind of fun.
Here's the. I collect PCs, like I said, because it's representative of an era. It's representative of an album, and these random mirror selfies are just like what I could get off of their Twitter feed, which is why it looks like a fan-made PC, because it looks like a Twitter photo. And we get so many phone selkas, like they do them all the time. So I'm like, I feel like PC intern is misunderstanding the assignment in that I don't need mirror selfies in random outfits that have nothing to do with the comeback for PCs, because the vibe that I'm getting from this is, we just forgot to do a whole set of PCs, so y'all just send me what's on your phone.
Listen, PC intern has to do a lot of work. They put out a lot of PCs.
I get that. I do get that, but I'm also like, you're misunderstanding me as your audience.
Yeah.
But I feel like if what we're gonna do is just put any random pictures, slap them on some cardstock, and call that a PC, you've lost my interest. Like I want Suman in his little grandfather outfit. I want Sayun as a clown man. That's what I want. He's beautiful, but he's in just a hoodie. He's in a hoodie that, like, it looks like he just was at rehearsal and was like, here, let me just slap on, do a little cheek part.
POBs half the time. Here's what I want.
And that's part of the problem.
What I want is consistency. I actually don't care if they're all in a hoodie and a hoodie's not featured in the album. What I want is that each of them are in a hoodie and doing the same pose, so that if I decide in my heart that I want all of them, I can get all of them, and you can be like, oh yes, that came from a set, as opposed to there's a lot of pictures there.
Yeah.
Like I just want them to look like they came from a set. That's why I was asking, like, if everyone has a cell phone mirror PC, I would be fine with that, because it's like, okay, I can get an OT10 cell phone mirror PC from this, and that's like, there's some consistency there. Like, I like it when they have a consistent theme that they do, and I like that for my POBs too. Nothing is more annoying to me than a POB where I've got like Jungho doing a thumbs up and Hangjung doing a cheek heart and Wooyoung doing a peace sign or something. Like, I don't know what they do, but
whatever.
Like, I don't like that. Like, I want you to all be doing the same thing in your own way, so that I can see your personality through the way you do the thing, as opposed to doing a different thing. That's all I want. PC man. manager. That's all I want.
I feel like I care about the pose less than I care about the outfit and the background.
Mm-hmm.
I have multiple OT8 sets where Mingy is the only one who is standing in front of a different background.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why do you hate me specifically?
I don't like a different background either, but the thing that really upsets me is when they all do the same pose and then Jung-ho does something different. Jung-ho, please. Like, I understand. I understand that you're my consistent boy and you want to do what you want to do.
You want to do that one angle.
But please,
get
baby.
It. Just for this one.
If they're all doing the same thing and you're doing something different, I cannot collect all 8 because then they look weird together. And maybe if they had the same background and he was like, I think I need something to tie them all together. Like, I don't even think it needs to be one specific thing, but I do need something tying them all together so that I can be like, yes, this was from the same set.
Right. I feel like there's a fundamental misunderstanding of what PC collectors want.
Mm-hmm. At least us.
Yeah. I feel like isn't that the whole point of like collecting a full OTA? Like they, you know how with the Treasure era and a little bit with Fever too, if you got all 8, they would like form some sort of picture on the back, some sort of image, and which tells me they want you to want all 8 because that means that you're buying more albums and all of that, right? Well, they don't really do that so much anymore. Now each PC has sort of an individual background, which I get it because a lot of sensible people only collect one boy.
Yeah.
They will collect everything for one boy. I am not a sensible person. I have multiple different types of collecting that I do, but I have sort of stumbled backward into, I think I figured out the type of collecting that makes me happy, which is I like one full set that is, again, representative of the album of the era.
Yeah.
And then I like to collect the fun ones of my two-ho. Those that like I collect the ones that are nice for them. And then if it's a really like special moment, like a penguin moment or like a bouquet moment or a flower crown moment, then I want to get my all 4. Like that's what I think I'm going to be working with. But if I can't put together a good OTA 10 or OT8 set because everybody's wearing something different and everybody's doing something different and everybody's found a different background to stand in front of, then I'm like, what is even the point of the OT8 set if y'all just doing whatever? So I feel like because I'm a teacher, so I understand what it's like trying to communicate directions to multiple people.
Yeah.
I need PC intern to treat ATs as children when they are giving them the instructions for what they need for the PCs. I need them like giving them to them like a note with like a check off list and being very explicit. Okay, you're going to do a peace sign in front of this blue wall. Everyone. You're going to do a cheek heart also in front of the blue wall. You're going to do a finger heart over here and it needs to be in front of this sparkle wall. And then you're going to go find a prop and you can do whatever you want with the prop, but it needs to be in front of this white wall. Like this is what I need.
Listen, KQ bought a very expensive green screen for Yoonho's Valorant, which they have been putting to use during the birthday lives. What if we could get some exciting green screen PCs, but they actually put like an image, like a boat.
Yeah, like not the green background like they did with the World Part 1.
Yeah, not an actual green, but like they use the green and then they just slap a boat back there.
Listen, like, there's a whole world of possibilities. There are so many things that we could do if they want to use that green screen. So I'm just saying we can just explore some options. Could just listen with the baby's second album, How to Play. Right. I've got multiple OT10 sets that I'm working on. I know that it's not OT10 because Junghoon was out for that part, but it's OT10, right? In my heart, it's OT10. They did some of the best because they've got full sets of every boy in his concept outfit and in front of a specific background. So they've got one set in front of like this like psychedelic spacey background. They've got another set in front of the scribble background. And then they've got 2 sets that are outside, and so they've got like here I've got a Junmin. They've got like these ones that are outside. So they've got like a nature set, and they are so nice. They're so nice. For their first one, they have a set where they all have they got 2 sets where they each have like a different prop that they're messing around with, which is very fun. That's the one where Eugene has the knife and the fork that he's holding.
And Hunter has that slice of pizza.
Hunter has the random slice of pizza. And everybody's got something.
PCs I've ever seen.
Everybody's got something different and weird, and it's so fun, but they're all in a similar setting, and they're all wearing a concept outfit. So there is a unifying element even amongst the chaos.
I feel like
this is what I want.
ATs had incredible PCs that worked within these realms for the Fever series.
Yeah.
I feel like that was the last time we got really good album PCs, quite frankly.
Yeah.
So.
And I wasn't collecting then, so that's really sad for me.
The POBs are pretty good usually as a person who collects POBs. But I do feel like the album PCs have been, less good. I think the ones during Bouncy were pretty good. I liked the Polka PCs for work, where they're like outside in their work outfits. Those are nice. I like those a lot.
We don't really get a lot of those work outfits in particular, so it's nice to have them in the PCs. But I don't think we ever got Mingy in his cowboy hat, did we?
No. Well,
PC intern just wasn't working that day?
There are 2 in the platform. Is it platform or Polka? Platform. There are 2 Mingy cowboys in the platform. One is a sideways PC. PC intern.
Okay. Listen.
The chaos that you have wrought in Golden Hour 2 with those stupid the Polka albums, where just chaos, absolute chaos. And 3 of Yoonho's are to the side, and then no one else is. So what are you doing? What happened? Where did it go wrong?
Again, they don't seem to understand what the PC collectors want. I don't know anybody who would be like, I want a mixture of sideways and vertical. That will look great on my page. What is happening?
If you're going to do a sideways PC, I need that sideways PC to exist for all 8 members, because otherwise I don't have a place to put that.
Yeah.
In the garbage, I guess. In the ocean. Just crazy. Anyways.
It's very frustrating. So yeah. So that is the music is great. Music video is great.
Super fun.
Promotions were fine, I guess. There was kind of like a game going on, but I've been really going through it at work and couldn't really pay much attention to the game. But all of that is great. I'm sad. I'm not really sad about the pizza box going away. I know a lot of people are sad about the pizza box going away, but that design really only made sense with the first one, which was designed to look like a pizza situation.
Yeah.
None of the other ones, it really, that design made sense for. So the more slim, probably much cheaper to produce, design with just the photo book and the envelope, and then the sleeve over. Much cheaper to ship. It's smaller, it's more compact. It is still the same height and size, shape as the pizza box. So they didn't pull a world. They didn't pull a world on me. But
no, there's not a single series of ATEEZs where they have consistently kept a size and shape.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Fever is the same.
Fever's the closest. It's the closest. And even with Treasure, the only one that's a different size is
full album.
All to Action, which is a full album, so that kind of makes a little bit of sense. And they kept a design consistency as far as the covers on that one. So that bothers me a lot less than the atrocities of what the world committed upon me, and now what Golden Hour is committing. I can't.
If I talk about the size and shape of ATEEZ's albums, I'll get all upset. No one wants to hear me complain any more than I've already done. So I'm not gonna.
So I just need someone. Just consistency is all I'm asking for. Just a little bit of everybody doing the same thing would be so nice.
But speaking of full albums, I do think that ATEEZ is going to have solo songs on the Comeback in May again. Or at least unit songs. Not solos, but unit songs. Because I think they're going to have another solo or unit moment in Your Fantasy. And I don't think they're going to be repeating everything. Everything being Jungho's song, yes. But all of them. Yeah. I don't think I'm going to get another go at Jungho's song.
Yeah. It makes so much sense. it from a performance standpoint to have solo moments in your performance because it helps your artist, gives everybody a break. It gives the show so much like texture and variety. Towards the Light was a much better show, in my opinion, than what was the one?
Break the Wall.
Break the Wall. And I'm not saying Break the Wall was bad. Break the Wall was fantastic, obviously. But as far as like a show experience, Towards the Light was just so much better. It just was so much better because they had all of the solo stuff and because they added so many little fun things, you know, Mingy's little solo rap, all of the solo dance moments, Hongjoong's solo guitar moment, plus the unit songs. Like it just added so much variety and life and fun. But the boys weren't exhausted because they could, you know, go breathe for a second during the solo stuff. And they had multiple solo moments. So everybody gets more of a break.
I do think they're going to do that again because after you have, we've seen this with Kingdom too, like after you have done a thing, it's hard to take that thing back down. In Your Fantasy is not going to have lower production values than Towards the Light. It will have at least the same or higher. So tickets will be the same or higher, right? Like you're not going to backslide. The ATs isn't going to backslide like that. Like they are going to put on a show, and I don't think they can do the same level if they don't include some sort of solo stages. So I do think if they're not going to put solo or unit songs on the album itself, then I think that they will be doing some sort of covers situation. And I don't really know the rules for covers during a concert. I assume they have to pay money to perform them. I'm not really sure. I don't hate covers during a concert, but I would prefer their original songs.
I don't see them doing that because they do that very specifically for the fan meets.
Yeah.
And so it
and they're
feels
not calling
like
this a fan meet.
No, it's not a fan meet. So it does. I feel like that would be kind of weird for them because that's something that you do when you're like a new artist
and you don't have enough songs.
You know, because like the Babies did it for their tour, their first tour.
It's been 2 albums since they did a full album.
And this could feasibly be the last of the Golden Hour series.
It could be. I feel like 4 for Golden Hour. Do you feel 4? I feel 4 in my heart.
I'm feeling nothing at all. I'm feeling like, you know, we could even just be jumping right into a new series and we don't even know. Because they just don't do anything the way that I expect them to anymore.
I mean, let's just say that if I expect 4, then there's definitely not going to be 4 because I have been wrong about everything. I haven't been right about ATs since Bouncy.
You used it all up in Bouncy.
I did so good during Bouncy. It's a real shame that we weren't recording a podcast then because I have no like proof of like how like it was like I spoke something and it came into existence. I was doing great.
Oh, speaking of speaking something into existence, I feel like so you sent me a message on Instagram based on Hongjoong's thing that he just posted. I feel like you should speak that out loud so that you have proof that you called it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay,
so.
you said here, I will read it to you. You're like, I sent you something? What? Hongjoong, because you were complaining to me about this, not the song that he chose, but that people were assuming that the song that he chose had any sort of meaning.
Oh, yeah.
But this picture where he is somewhere behind a table and she says he's designing and being shown mock-ups, I feel sure.
So when he releases something that's been designed by him, I called the moment he was designing it.
Yeah. So I feel like we needed to put a pin in that, like, stake that claim now. So that you can say that, you know, you were right.
That's the only explanation for that picture. Like, it's very clear that he's designing, like, he's being shown mock-ups of something.
Yeah,
that's the
something.
Only thing that
it doesn't, like, why else is he in this, like, warehouse? Like, what is this?
I feel like we saw him, like, a sketchbook of clothes the other day.
Yeah, he posted something. He was sketching something.
Maybe that sketch was old.
Maybe
we have his mock-up. Maybe we're getting some by Hongjoong clothes this year.
What if we just get Hongjoong to design the merch that goes with the albums instead of Hello 82? What do we get that?
Oh my God, that would be so good.
Why? Hey, KQ. Well, you
this
give
is the
me
best
like
idea you've ever had.
You give us, you know, stickers that the members have drawn. You've teased us with the members designing things. I want a shirt that looks like it was designed by a serial killer, but actually it was That's what I want. And I know that, like, apparently I think New Jeans did this at some point, but it was like they did such minimal design work on the shirts and stuff that people were complaining about how much they cost. It was like the design that I saw somebody show, it looked like something that Pot would do.
Oh.
And we all
Which
know.
I hear is actually very in style in some places. Not to me.
Not here.
I'm more of a maximalist.
Right, yeah. And I feel like it's not even the maximalism. It's just the fact that everything we've been getting recently is just so kind of ugly. And I don't need it to be ugly. Like, I just think a shirt that was designed by a member.
In Your Fantasy is the name of this tour. I better be getting some incredible merch from it.
Let's just walk down this pathway for just a moment, you know? Let's say we get it. Every member gets his own t-shirt design. And Jong-o gives us his own drawing of like a bear.
Oh, that would be perfect.
You know?
I told Makestar that I would buy anything that had a member drawing on it. That's what I told them. And they asked me for a meeting to talk about my like experience as a GOM, what people would buy for merchandise, because they're trying to get into merchandising, which they did do for the Europe tour. So we might be seeing some Makestar merchandise instead of Hello 82 merchandise in the US, which would be exciting.
It would be exciting, but given their relationship with Hello 82,
that's the thing. I'm not sure they would be allowed to step out because of the fact that Hello 82 is their distributor for the US. So they have a contractual relationship with them as it relates to distributing. Hard to know how far that how deep that contract is. We did see that the pop-ups were not, like the concert pop-ups were not, they were at Hello 82 where there was a Hello 80 store, 82 store, but the like actual producer, I don't know, like the distributor of those pop-ups was not, like they were not being organized by Hello 82. I think they were being organized by K-pop Nara maybe. So, and K-pop Nara, I think, is who Makestar is looking to partner with and is Hello 82's biggest competition. So,
listen,
some little inside K-pop baseball.
All I am going to say is that Hello 82 is the house that ATEEZ built.
Yes.
That is what I'm going to say. The fact that we've got Hello 82s in multiple locations, that's because of ATEEZ. And I'm not saying that like a blaming ATEEZ. And if you know our history with Hello 82, you might be able to interpret that as us blaming ATEEZ when we're not. I am saying that Hello 82 is capable of doing this. They are capable of having this expansion because of their extremely lucrative relationship with ATEEZ and by extension KQ.
Yes.
So if I am Hello 82, I'm going to give ATEEZ whatever they want. And if they're like, hey, we'll let you keep doing the albums, but you suck at pop-ups for concerts, so we are going to be taking our concert pop-ups and our merch design elsewhere. Thank you very much. I'd be like, okay, as long as you let me do the albums, that's I'll do what you want.
I mean, there's no denying that the Towards Your Light merchandise was better than most of the other merchandise we've gotten in the past, and it was not Hello 82. And I do think Makestar does a pretty good job with their merchandising. I know there were some issues because there were 2 Makestar events in Europe for the Towards Your Light tour, and they had told, like, when I talked to Makestar, they told me those were going to be happening soon. And so they were like, we're going to try to expand to America too. So I think we should probably look forward to some sort of Makestar travel city exclusive PC drop. And then if they also do merch, I also wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if they've gotten the stuff together to do it yet, but I would not be surprised.
But it'll be expensive. So
yeah, and
prepare your hearts.
Here's the thing about that Makestar PC set: it was much more expensive when they sold them in Europe than it was when they later sold them on Makestar's website to everyone. Like the albums cost more per album because once again you have to pay things like shippings and tariffs, and that's going to be even more true now. And so at some point it's like, is it even worth it to buy those albums if Makestar's just going to put them online later?
That is hard to know. Are they going to always always put them online later. It's a big old shrug from everybody. We just don't know. So it's all a gamble.
Should we get into our patron saints?
Yes, I was just thinking.
The last I had said mine was Mingy because I was traveling. And then after it was Mingy, it was Wooyoung. Oh, we didn't even talk about Wooyoung's thing. But
I didn't talk about Wooyoung's thing.
I was really into my Wooyoung feels. I think Wooyoung is so great. He's so perfect. He's so wonderful. And I was like, yes, baby, you're my patron saint. I love you.
Mine had been Wooyoung the week before. This past week, my patron saint has been San. But we'll just dip our toes into the Wooyoung situation. It's not even really a situation anymore. And I feel like I don't really have
I feel like I just said everything I needed to say.
Yeah. If you are curious what we are referencing, if you don't know about the Vada situation, I don't know what to tell you. You are way behind. But Vada basically plagiarized the Say My Name driving dance, which is a really it's one of AT's signature moves, I would say. So he for sure plagiarized. I'm not even gonna be like allegedly. There is no allegedly. I have eyes. So plagiarized the dance, tried to pass it off as his own original choreography because the challenge that he used it for was meant to be his own original choreography for his We Dem Boys.
But he rides a motorcycle. Sorry.
No, nobody rides a motorcycle like that. But anyway, so Wooyoung called him out in his own way in a concert. He did the biting move, which, you can look this all up. You can look it all up. There is beef between Wooyoung and Vada, and I think by extension ATEEZ and Vada. And so Wooyoung was on live the other day, and some idiot, and I'm standing behind that, some idiot in the comment section,
I think,
we're spamming for Wooyoung to do the Like Jenny challenge, which is choreographed in part by Vada. A lot of the conversation after everything had gone down was that it wasn't even Vada who did most of the choreography. It was actually a woman choreographer. And so Wooyoung didn't even need to be upset about it. But Vada's been the one who's been super public about, hey, I'm the one who did this choreo.
Right.
So the fact that none of us knew it was anyone other than Vada, I think speaks volumes. So
of who Vada is as a person.
Yeah. So Wooyoung refused. He said, no, I'm not going to do the Like Jenny challenge. Aren't you an ATEEZ? This got translated, of course, as everything does, and put on Twitter, and the Jenny stands came for his neck. I've never seen such insane behavior in all my life. This genuinely and truly, this was like nothing else I have ever seen, because the way that you have to be so disconnected from reality to get upset about this is so crazy. Because a lot of the arguments were, why did he name Jenny by name? He's just trying to build off of her famous, her name is in the song. What else is he supposed to say?
She's trying to build off her famous icon.
Yeah.
That's the name
people
of her
were
song.
So why did he name her? It's because her name was in the song. He did not say, I'm not going to do Jenny's song. He named the name of the song. It's called Like Jenny. If she doesn't want people using her name, then don't name your song after yourself, I guess. He didn't. They're like, well, why didn't he say, I'm going to do that challenge that is choreographed by Vada? Why does he have to use that many words? What's wrong? Also, y'all are trying to say it wasn't actually choreographed by Vada. He only did a little bit. Well, how are we supposed to know that? That wasn't the issue. He's the one who's been so public about it. So how are we supposed to know? And then they were like, it was so wild and so crazy and got so spun so far out of control. And it was literally arguing with a wall, where people are like, no, he wasn't disrespecting Jenny. He didn't even say anything bad about it. He was just like, no, I'm not going to do that challenge. End of story. That was it. And then the conversation moves on. And plus, this is on Talk, which is behind, you have to, people are like, it's 2 paywalls. You have to be a member of the Talk, and you have to pay the extra fee for access to the members' lives. So that's 2 separate paywalls you have to be past to be on this live. So why on earth he shouldn't have to? Because they were like, why didn't he explain what he meant? He didn't have to. It was only ATEEZ in the chat, supposedly. So I just. This is what I'm saying. This is going back to, we were talking about Blackpink earlier before we started recording.
Yeah.
And I said their fans have nothing else to do because they never put out content. So what are they going to do other than massive amounts of infighting and getting mad every 30 seconds about whatever?
I just hope that Wooyoung knows that I support him entirely. I hope you hold that grudge forever. If it was me, I would.
We all know I can hold a grudge.
It is me. I am holding it forever. I will never support anything that Vata does. Anytime that an artist works with Vata, I do side-eye them. I mean, I'm not going to cut an artist off because they do, but like I will side-eye. And I'm not going to be listening to a song heavily that was choreographed by Vata, but maybe like if Jenny has a different song, maybe. But she doesn't right now that I know of.
Well, I didn't like her recent album, and I did not like that song. And I guess if that's me disrespecting Jenny, I'm so sorry, but that just is the way that it is. I just didn't like it. It wasn't for me. And so I didn't know anything about that song. I didn't know that Vata choreographed it.
I
did find out recently that Vata did choreograph Kai's new song, and I'm like, hey, why is this guy everywhere?
Yeah,
why is he everywhere all of a sudden?
Listen, that's the one I was talking about. Like, I like Kai. I like a lot of his songs. I'm not listening to his new song, so that's what that
I didn't
is.
even think it sounded that good. It sounds like a rehash of songs that I've already heard. So I'm like, I guess I don't really need to hear this one because it sounds a lot like Rover and the other one that he said it's a mashup of like Rover and I've got those songs, so I don't need this one. And I didn't like Rover anyway. I thought it was very repetitive and just really didn't do anything for me. I did like so this was just not, it wasn't. I've heard the chorus. I haven't listened to the whole song. I'll probably listen to the whole song like once or
I won't because Vata choreographed it.
Right.
So.
But I listen to everything that comes out. And so I'll give it my one listen and then that will be it. But also I have heard most of it. So I just, it just listen, it's a minor way for me to stick to my principles. So I'll stick
like
to my
principles. Said, Wooyoung, I support you 1,000%. I love you. I think you should continue to do you and you should stand by your principles. And I think you're a perfect little flower. So he was my patron saint last week and I loved him a lot.
So who are we taking with us into this week?
Oh God. Well, you've got spring break this week. Why don't you tell me who you're taking and I'll contemplate my life.
Anytime I have like a good time coming up, anytime that's going to be pretty chill, I do tend to pick callsWhy because I feel like callsWhy is so good at embracing his hobbies. He's so good at just being who he is. I've heard people say he's like a loser in a hot guy's body, and I do take issue with that because I do not feel that being into Lego and being into things makes you a loser. We're all into K-pop, so hello pot meat kettle, But I do try to channel that energy of just embracing the things that I love for a while I can, while I have the time to. So I might pick callsWhy, but I'm looking at my Anities right now, my keychain
I was also
collection.
looking at my Anities. I was looking at my Post-it. I have an Anities Post-it.
Like, which one of you nerds represents my vibe this week? I'm also wondering about Hongjun, because Hongjun would be good for like getting some things done, but I don't know. Maybe that's not. I'm gonna go with callsWhy. callsWhy is gonna be my patron saint this week, and I'm going to embrace the things that I love this week.
That sounds nice. I have a lot of stuff I need to get done this week. That's true every week.
Yeah. I'm like, is that every new week and different?
I have a lot of stuff that I need to get done, which usually means that I pick Yeosang. But really, I'm feeling like, and I can't explain why, but my heart is feeling Yoonho. And so I feel like I don't know what's happening. I don't know if he's a wise choice, because one of the things I want to do, I say I have a lot of stuff to get done. One of the things I want to do is I want to paint my house, which I don't know that I have to get that done, but I feel like I do. I mean, if I feel like I do, because if I don't, then I like start to get like anxious and panicky. Yeah. So I feel like I have to get my house painted. So I have to get my house painted. I feel like callsWhy would be a good choice for that. I don't know about Yoonho's home renovation experience.
I feel like if you pick Yoonho, you're gonna get some of that golden retriever energy. And he might bring some joy, because the thing I love about Yoonho is how he'll just bring some joy into like a really awkward, rough situation. And listen, if you are doing home work on your home, you need that joy. So I feel like he might help keep your heart light, even when you do want to throw an entire gallon of paint at somebody's head,
Okay.
Like he'll bring some fun and levity to the process because he's just here to have a good time. And so I feel like you are already like, I've got to do this thing. So I don't feel like maybe that's the thing. You don't need someone to compel you to do the thing. You need somebody who's going to ease the pain of doing the thing.
Right. Okay.
So I feel like,
All right.
could be a wise choice,
Yeah. I also need to get some writing done. I didn't get a lot done last week because of the cup sleeve that I had to prepare for him. I don't know how Yoonho's going to help me with that, but maybe he is. I mean, if the heart wants what the heart wants.
The heart wants what the heart wants.
And I feel like the heart wants Yoonho. I rarely choose Yoonho. I think he's too happy for me. How can I be my gothic self with my puppy?
Well, you can find joy. You can find joy in... I just love him so much. I was also thinking, is also somebody that I pick when I just want to have a good time. And I feel like, and here's the thing, is that I picked San for this past week. And I always pick San for like a very gentle reason. Like I pick him because I just want to coast. I just want to, not that I feel like San is lazy or anything, but I feel like San is very good at self-love. San knows exactly who he is.
He has a very steady vibe.
Yes. Like I trust him. He's going to bring some gravity, but like a good type of gravity that's just going to keep me from flying off the edge of the planet. And every single time I pick him, I have a rough week. And I'm not saying that it is his fault. I am saying that it's like I always pick him because I want to have a good week and I think he's going to give me a good week, but he always ends up kind of having to play the role of the comforter. And it's almost like I just know when the bad times are coming and I'm going to need somebody to help me through the bad times. I don't know where I was going with that, but it's, I don't know. I just feel like maybe the heart knows what's going on. The heart knows what you're going to need and what you need as a golden retriever.
I think that might be true. You know what I was just thinking? I think the last time we had ticketing, I picked Yoonho because he's lucky, but then he's often not. So.
He's often not.
So maybe this is dangerous.
Is Sangwa going to help me with ticketing? I don't know.
You ask him.
Don't bully. I said his name wrong. Will you help me with ticketing? There's no thought. There's no thought between these ears. There's nothing going on in here. But he's just existing.
So Sangwon Yoonho.
Yeah, Sangwon Yoonho are going to take us into this week. They're going to carry us through. They're going to get us the tickets that we want.
And good luck everyone who's listening to ticketing. I understand that we are releasing this after ticketing, but we're manifesting for you as well.
Right. We're hoping for, unless you're a terrible person, and I just want to make it clear that if you're one of those people who were cutting lines and being rude on social media last time, I hope you fail. I hope you fail.
If you have ever said a bad word about Eden.
Yeah, you people, we don't want you. To the girls who cut in front of us and on the floor in Duluth, who excused us your way up in front of us after sound check in Duluth, I don't want you anywhere near this concert. I am wishing the worst luck on you. I hope your internet goes out while you are in the queue.
But anyone who loves ATs and is kind, we're really VIP or lower bowl or whatever it is you're
whatever
looking
you want,
for,
whatever your heart desires. I hope you get it. If you're a kind and good person, and if you are sensible,
and if you're a person who stood up during everything, I hope you get it.
Yes.
If you took a bathroom break during everything,
unless it was an emergency, and by emergency, I mean substances are coming out of your body.
Right. If it was like your third concert in an emergency, I'm like, I get it. I too had to go to the bathroom.
Thank you for joining us for today's chat. If you enjoyed, please follow or subscribe to the podcast.
You can find us on Blue Sky at HoloChat Podcast, or read more from our blog at ontini.com.
If you love books, you can also follow along with our spin-off podcast, Readers of the Lost Art.
We'll see you next time. Be the light.